Hello, this is part 2 of graphing quadratic functions in vertex form. So just like example 1, we got to find the vertex. We got to graph it, find vertex, y-intercept, x-intercept, x-symmetry, domain range, and where the intervals increasing, decreasing. So let's start with the vertex because it's always easy to find, especially if it's in vertex form. So our vertex is at horizontal shift, comma, vertical shift. So our horizontal shift is x plus 1, which means you're shifting it 1 unit to the left. So that would be -1. And then our y value of the vertex is the vertical shift, which is -2, and you do not change the sign. Okay, now once you have the vertex, the axis symmetry is very easy to find. It's going to be x equals pretty much the x value of the vertex, which is -1. And we found that. And then what's the next thing? We got to find, the next thing I would find is the y-intercept because that's easy to find. You simply plug in 0 into the function. So that would be 0 plus 1 square minus 2. So that would be 0 plus 1 is 1 square minus 2. 1 square is 1 minus 2, which is -1. So your y-intercept is 0, -1. Okay, now the next thing we're going to find is the x-intercept. So to save us time, we're going to use a discriminant rule because we may or may not have real x-intercepts. So set y to 0, x plus 1 square minus 2. We're going to FOIL this out because we got to put it in standard form, basically. So if you FOIL x plus 1 square, that would be x squared plus 2 times ab. So that would be 2x plus b squared. So that's, if your b is 1, so that'd be 1 squared, which is 1. And then you have minus 2. So that would be x squared plus 2x. And then 1 minus 2 is -1. Okay. Now, let's just do the discriminant rule. So it's b squared minus 4ac. So b squared, so it's for our a is 1, b is 2, c is -1. So b squared is 2 squared minus 4 times a is 1, c is -1. 2 squared is 4, right? 2 squared is 4. -4 times 1, -4 times +1 times -1 is +4, right? -4 is -4 times -1 is +4. That gives you 8, which is greater than 0, which means we have 2 x-intercepts. Now, how would well, we can't factor it, right? It won't factor out nicely. Two numbers will multiply -1 and added gives you 2 is impossible. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. So x equals opposite of b, which is -2, plus or minus root b squared, which is 4, minus 4 times ac. So a is 1, c is -1, all over 2 times 1. So that's -2 plus or minus 4, and then -4 times 1 times -4, what is that? -4, +4, right? -4 times 1 is +4, all over 2. And that would be -2 plus or minus 8 over 2. Now okay, so I need actual zeros. I'm not gonna simplify, I need a number, right? So our first x-intercept would be -2 plus radical 8 all over 2. So that would be -2 plus radical 8 all over 2. That is 0.4. And then your other one would be x equals -2 minus radical 8 all over 2. So that would be -2 minus radical 8 2. So that is -2.4. Okay. I think we have enough to graph it. So we have plot our vertex. Our vertex is at -1, comma, -2. Okay, and then my y-intercept is what? 0, comma, -1. So it's right here. My two x-intercepts are, one of them is at 0.4, so here's 1, 0.4, it's like halfway. And the other one is -2.4, so here's -1, here's -2, -2.4, it's like halfway. Okay, connect the dots. Okay, and then if you want to draw the axis symmetry, it's x equals -1, so it's right here. Okay. Okay, so that's our graph. So now we got to figure out the domain and range. So the domain is always going to be all real numbers. So it's -infinity to +infinity. The range is all the y values. So our smallest y value is related to the vertex, which is -2. And they include it, so you use bracket -2, comma, and our highest y value shoots up to +infinity. So put infinity, parentheses. Okay, now let's figure out where it's the intervals where it's increasing, decreasing. So over here, you're going downhill. Uh, and then over here, you're going uphill. So increasing is remember it's all x values, so our smallest x value from this side is -1. And they don't include it, so that's why I put a parentheses, and then it just shoots up to infinity. And then decreasing is from smallest x value is, so it's this side area. So our smallest x value is -infinity, and it stops at the x value of -1. Okay, so there's your graph, and that is everything what we need to know. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and I will do the last example on another video. Thank you.